in this last couple of weeks where it's been rumored that he's going to fight Manny Pacquiao, and then all of a sudden that's like, that's not actually happening. And I looked into, why this happened, how this happened, where did he get the idea that that fight was going to happen or was being negotiated, and whatever. But essentially, Mark Kriegel did like a write-up about this on ESPN. And I guess the premise is that at some point, Oscar De La Hoya and Manny Pacquiao were going to do an exhibition at some, billionaire fucking mansion or whatever. But it was, it was going to be like a closed circuit exhibition between two old legends, right? And I guess Oscar decided to pass that opportunity off to Ryan Garcia. But he didn't explain that that's what it was, that it was going to be an exhibition at somebody's house or at a house, for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, this was not communicated properly to Ryan Garcia. And so, if you're on Instagram or whatever, you saw him posting, I can't wait to fight, one of my idols and fight a legend like this. And it looked like this was maybe a very real thing. And then Golden Boy is like, there's not really anything to talk about here. And it's like, what are you fucking talking about? There's been, all of this talk about this fight that people would actually want to watch. And there's all of these other fights that Ryan Garcia could and should be pursuing that he's not, because he thinks that this is actually going to happen. That he's actually going to have a real fight with Manny Pacquiao. And of course he would want that fight. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a real fighter. So he's not afraid to get in with anybody. Of course he would want that fight. I think, of course, Pacquiao would want that fight, right? He's an all-time legend. I'm guessing he doesn't feel like there's really anybody that can beat him right now. That's probably how he feels about it, right? And he knows that this kid's a big draw. So it's a great opportunity for him. He's fighting somebody that's kind of smaller than him, and it's kind of a win-win situation. It's going to make a lot of money, It's absolutely a super fight. So it's like, of course these guys would want to have this fight. But I don't think either of them would ever be interested in fighting each other in an exhibition. They're both active fighters. Garcia is trying to build a legacy. He's trying to create a career. He's trying to, because I think in this social media world, he's famous now regardless. But he's trying to be a real fighter. So if he wants to be a real fighter, he has to have a real fight with Manny Pacquiao. He can't have a sparring session. So this is why, I'm kind of the opinion that he may want to consider leaving Golden Boy. Because moves like this and a lack of communication, it's just obvious that they're not valuing him the way that they should. Because this is a guy that could do a lot of shit in the sport, man. He's got the draw, he's got the skills, he's got the heart, he's getting better, He's shown some vulnerability, so he's going to be in good fights. And so kind of lying to him about this and making it seem like there's an opportunity there that isn't there, that shit's dirty, man. Because now there's been weeks, literal weeks since the Luke Campbell fight, about a month. And if this is what they've been focusing on, they're not negotiating other fights. And there's a lot of fights out there that he could be taking, right? The Devin Haney fight would be easy to make. I think the Tank Davis fight is probably easy to make. Teofimo Lopez, Nakatani, Then there's that next tier down that is basically, you got Lomachenko, you got Linares. There's guys at weights above and below that I would love to see him fight. If he fought Jose Zepeda, if he fought Shakur Stevenson, he fought the winner of Ramirez Taylor, the winner of Valdez and Berchelt, Regis Prograis. Like, I could just keep talking about all these great fights that he could be a part of, that nobody's negotiating because they're trying to pretend like he's going to get a Pacquiao fight. Like, it's not that simple. So I feel like he's really getting done dirty right now. Like, I think that he really doesn't need them like that. And I think he needs to take that risk, take that leap, and do it independent. And if he has to do what Canelo does, what Mikey Garcia does, what a lot of these top guys do, and sign either, one fight contracts with a promoter to make certain fights happen, maybe he needs to do that, because he's already got that worth. He's already got that audience. He doesn't need Oscar De La Hoya to get his audience. He doesn't need it. That's the good part of the social media world. So he needs to, I think, remove himself from that situation. If he needs to do one fight deals with certain promoters, do them. And outside of that, he's the money man. He's the cash cow. So people kind of have to come to him, and he has to hold it like that. And also, if there's fights that he's eager to make, he needs to have the flexibility to really go for it. So that's my take on that. And I think that, he really should think about finding a new promotional situation overall.